Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I am planting up this really cool planter that sits right on the railing of my deck. I found this last year. I might get some more. It can fit different sizes for your deck, and it's really sturdy up here. It just gives another feature to your railing here. Gives me a great place to plant. And last year at the end of the season, I stuck 2 of my hydrangea clippings, the cuttings that I had rooted inside, in here and overwintered this in the shed. And they are coming back. So we are far enough along that I can trim off the little pieces that didn't make it from these hydrangeas. But they're still going to need some babying along this year. I'm going to put some other annuals in here, but I'm going to keep an eye on them, maybe move them out to their own planter in the future so that they have plenty of space. These are violet crown hydrangeas. So what I'm going to add in here, let me go get it for you. I have some plants that really need to be watered. In the center, to give it some height, I have some stock that I'm going to plant. I have a couple of my Supertunias. Now the Supertunias get really big. This is what makes me think I'm going to have to move the hydrangea out now. They will cascade over the side. And then I have a couple little potato vines that will also cascade throughout the year. So it might not fill in that much right now, but give it a month or so and this is going to look fabulous. So I've already changed my mind on what I'm doing. These little hydrangeas popped right out. I'm going to put them in their own little pot so that they have space. Baby hydrangeas. I just went and quickly grabbed a little planter that I had in the shed, added some extra potting mix to it, and here are my 2 little cuttings of the hydrangea. So I'm just going to add them in here. This will let me just keep a careful watch on them rather than sticking them right in the garden and potentially forgetting to water them or missing them or stepping on them, which I've been known to do. This will keep them much safer to get them through another year. I'll be talking about taking hydrangea cuttings in the future, but that first year really is tricky to get them through. So they were great with lots of roots when they were grown inside in the water. You move them outside, that transition can be tough. So I want to keep these going through the summer, then we probably will be good to go. Oh, and these look so dry. My goodness, they're going to be happy to get into a larger planter and have some space. So here's another little plug of the sweet potato vine, and I noticed that there is like a little netting here. This is sort of like the netting that you see in the Jiffy pots, and the netting, this often happens and the roots can go through it. You can leave the netting there, but a lot of people choose to remove that because it does give them a little bit more growth potential there. So I'm gonna just sort of peel it back what I can. It won't be perfect. You can see how this is sort of coming off here. There we go. Sometimes you'll actually find like 2 layers of that. You take out the plug with the netting and then the next layer has another layer sort of, and they do biodegrade over time, some better than others. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but I'm going to water it because that will help a lot. I'm also noticing that I need a little more dirt in here, so I'm using a potting mix here just like I usually do. I tend to use the Miracle-Gro potting mix. I'm going to add a little bit of that in here just to make sure that my roots are covered. I want to plant about where it came up to in the pot. Always handy to have some extra potting mix nearby. And in my true gardening fashion, I spilled it all over the gas. Okay, that looks much better here. I like to keep my potting mix down about 1 inch because as you water, you don't want your water to just overflow everywhere. If you have about 1 inch from the top, then you're pretty good to be able to saturate it and have the water sink in before it overflows and makes a mess. Oh, this is going to be so pretty with these bright colors. I love it. And in my pinks and purples here.
About a week after planting this up, I decided to change the planter a little bit. The first thing I did was I added a Proven Winners Supertunia Lovie Dovie, which is just this adorable Supertunia with a stripe in it. It is so cute, and I just added one to peek over the side of the planter. The other thing is I replaced the Thriller, the tall piece in the center that was the stock. I added the stock that I'd put in this planter to the ground where I had the other stock I had purchased, and I replaced it with Rockin Fuchsia, another Proven Winners plant that really attracts hummingbirds, so that hopefully my hummingbirds start to come to visit this planter too. And I just love these changes.
Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.